Hello everybody and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. I recently did a video on why you should avoid the 2015 Queen reissues. And well, just as I did with the Beatles box set, because I did not say you should not buy the Beatles mono box because it's a pretty awesome box set. And in regard to the 2015 Queen box set, these are two completely different leagues. Nevertheless, when I do a video in regard to a box set, I think it's nice to make a video to tell something about which kind of pressings I advise you to buy, or share some experiences of mine in regard to the pressings I bought. Now, let's start off with the beginning of the Queen discography. I can't share everything about the entire discography. Please give me more comments about your experiences with Queen pressings and Queen albums, but this is what I have found out so far in regard to the best Queen pressings. I'm gonna start out with the first Queen album. This one, I have a really terrible Italian pressing of it, Queen 1, which sounds horrible. This is the first one I bought, don't like it, but I bought it because it was cheap and it was tough to find Queen 1. Now, when I compared it to the box version, I had this one and I thought this one, an original Italian, didn't sound good. I had this one, which you see a lot. This is a first Dutch one, and you also have a first Dutch one, and I even saw that a lot in the UK with a Fame logo around it. I thought this album was just their first one, and it sounds so thin. It's not good in the 2015 version. It's not good on these original versions from other countries. I thought Queen 1 is just not a very good sounding album. And then, a couple of weeks ago, I found this. A near mint copy of Queen 1, the first British pressing, mastered by Blair. It has Blair in the Matrix, and I pointed that because Blair is awesome, and we will talk about it a bit more with A Night at the Opera. And when I put this on, holy shit, what an awesome album! It's so full, it's so strong, it has such a clear, beautiful sound, and this album comes to life on the first British pressing. So do yourselves a favor. It is one of the best Queen albums, but it needs a good pressing. And avoid the 2015 version again. Go ahead, find a first UK one because it's stellar. And there are not a lot of situations in which the difference with other Queen pressings is so enormous. For example, this one, I have here a first Dutch pressing, which is quite good. It beats the 2015 straight away. Although some people even say that the 2015 version might sound better, but not my experience. Sounds good. Later on, I bought this one, first UK. Better buy a hairline. Better buy a hairline. The Dutch is a very good alternative if you cannot find a first UK. Minor difference. And yet, Queen 2 does not sound as good on vinyl as I truly hope. So I really hope one day we'll get a real analog version of it, audiophile. Another interesting is here, Sheer Heart Attack. First pressing I got was 1974 Greek version from Greece. Thin, dull sounding. Then I got a first Japanese from 1974, and this is awesome. It's very strong sounding. It has nice attack on the sound. Nice, great dynamic range, and I compared it actually to a couple of others, because after I found this one, I found a second UK here in the Netherlands. The second UK had the same matrix codes as this one, the first UK, which I found last year in Nottingham. Oh no, it doesn't quite have the same one. These have a 3U and 4U, and this one have 3U and 5U with a TML mastering. Now, this one is slightly better than this one, but the 3U, the 4U, the 5U in the Matrix, they are quite good. They sound great. But the first UK, this is also a mint one. I was pretty lucky to find this one. the winner. But find a UK, 3U, 4U, 5U, preferably 3U or 4U. Awesome. Then again, you will not be disappointed by the Japanese, which is also very, very, very nice. Very nice. And I'm gonna go towards the one with which I discovered Queen. It is A Night at the Opera, my actual first album I ever got. First Dutch pressing, and some first Dutch pressing have the Blair Scott. And this is a Blair Scott. It sounds very, very good, unbeatable. There is a mobile fidelity sound lab of this out there. I have not listened to it, but people who have this one have compared it to the MoFi. And unless you're a very silly MoFi geek, you will prefer a Dutch one or a British one with Blair on it. Now, why do I take the Dutch one with there? The Dutch one does not sound quite as powerful, although it is the same mastering. Might have to do with the masters being transferred, so the time that is between them. It might be that the Dutch final sounds a little bit different. Nevertheless, it is often talked about because this album, the Dutch version, has nice paper and not cardboard inner sleeve. So the Dutch versions of this are often better kept. So they do not have as much scratches as the British ones. So a first Dutch one is actually worth getting after if you want the chances of a near mint one. Now, nevertheless, I have two British versions. One is the Blair Scott and one is the Mr. Blair Scott. And my Blair Scott does have the scratches from the cardboard inner sleeve. Though the vinyl sounds a little bit more, just like as with Queen 2, the Dutch and the first British. Slight difference. This one though, it's near mint. And this one is the Mr. Blair Scott. And the Mr. Blair Scott, you can see it in the stampers. It's all a first UK, but this one is just has slightly bit more bass. And I prefer that. Blair cut it with a bit more bass in there, bit edgier. One of the most amazing sounding albums in my collection. I really love it. Now, what is there to say about Queen A Day at the Races, first UK, and a Dutch one I have here. First UK, again, slightly better, but the first Dutch one is awesome as well. Very nice pressings, easily to find also. I've never compared News to the World with anything else than the first UK. I, by coincidence, got a first UK, not knowing it was a first UK. Stellar sounding album, also not very difficult to find. So, go ahead with that. Jazz, the Jazz album. I have here a first Dutch pressing with the poster, which sounds pretty good. Love it, but I'm gonna try to find the first UK. Because they usually sound a little bit better. I'm gonna keep the live albums out of here. Now, this is interesting. Queen, The Game. What I have here is a first Dutch pressing. Sounds good. And I have, because this was advised to me on the Steve Huffman board, Queen, The Game in a US version. Because some of the users came to the conclusion that the first US pressing was actually way, way better than the first UK. I don't know why, but I bought it, put it on. Stellar sounding pressing. This first US, it has a nice shiny cover. Songs like Play the Game, Dragon Attack, Need Your Lovin' Tonight, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Rocket. It just rocks. You hear they are changing the way they sound and the way they are mixed and mastered and the way the songs are put together, you know. Beautiful, beautiful pressing this is. If you put Another One Bites the Dust on, because it is a very nice, dry sounding song. You know, it's very dry recorded, very dry mixed, but it has punch to it, it has edge to it, within its dryness. I mean, dry always sounds like oh, I think the record sounds too dry. No. Put on a nice mastered version of Queen the Game, and the dryness of Another One Bites the Dust, you will love it. I think, but I really love it. So the first US of the game. Now we're gonna come into Flash Gordon, interesting album. German pressing sounds very, very good. Still need to compare it to a first UK, but it's not an album I put on regularly, so not into diving into that way too deep. This is a Dutch pressing of Hot Space, which sounds very good. I am still curious though how this might sound on a US pressing, because the way Queen wanted it to sound, it was very much inspired by American music. So if I come across a US and a UK, I will do another review of that to compare it to. What I have here is Queen The Works on a first UK. Sounds stellar. Sounds stellar. Now, the soundscape is not as big and grand as the other albums, which I talked about in the other video. But talking about radio hits sounding very, very punchy and very strong. Damn, this first UK is awesome. Then I have, just before I'm gonna quit off in this video, a very nice situation. I bought this, a Yugoslavian pressing. Yeah, a Yugoslavian pressing. I'm checking, just double check. My Yugoslavian is very bad, and there is a pressing of this album. I bought it in Budapest just before Corona burst out, and I thought Yugoslavian pressing, it must sound terrible. Eastern European pressing, it must sound terrible. Got home, put it on, stellar sounding. I mean, I never experienced Who Wants to Live Forever the way it does on this album. Now, last year in Nottingham, I found this. Or was it Birmingham? No, I found this one in Nottingham. First UK pressing. Near mint. Thought I'll buy it. Near mint. And put it on. Compare it to the Yugoslavian one. Yugoslavian was better. And I have no idea how this is possible, because they are both in great shape, so it's not worn out or anything like that. Just the Yugoslavian sounds fuller. A fuller sound, more detail, more punch, more dynamics. I have no idea how that is possible. So if anyone understands, I'm clueless. I'm gonna end up this video. I'm not gonna go into Innuendo and Made in Heaven for the simple reason Innuendo is a tough bet, because the original pressing does not have the entirety of the songs. So the 2015 version with the two LPs is actually the way the album was initially intended. But then again, the mastering of that sucks. So where do you go from there? Made in Heaven, I don't own a first pressing of it, nor do I own the 2015 pressing, so I can't say anything serious about it, nor am I willing to put down the amounts of money these albums cost, because they're good albums, but I'm not gonna pay more than 20 or 30 bucks for them. So I'm gonna end this off with this one, the European pressing of The Miracle. And it's a good sounding pressing, but I can't listen to it long enough, because I just don't think this is such a good Queen album. Now, what do you guys think? What are your experiences with Queen pressings? And leave a comment below. And let's keep discussing. If you've got any tips on nice sounding Queen pressings, leave them below. And see you in another video. Bye.